Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. Welcome back, everyone. We're going to talk about something today that affects all of us, but usually people don't talk about it. Now, first of all, I'm gratified to see that more and more of us are taking care of ourselves physically and also mentally. And if you went back, say, 30 years ago and you said those words, mental health, people would look at you a little strange, like, hey, man, I think they have a little problem over there. Now you freely say, hey, I'm going to talk to, I'd like to catch up. I need to talk to my therapist. And it's almost like a badge of courage, like, hey, good for you. You're taking care of it. Now let's take mental health and look at it through the eyes of where you work and how that works for you. We've got two joining us today, two wonderful women. They are related. They have separate careers. They've been dealing with challenges like we all are as leaders in their workplace. And we're going to pick their brain. And that would be Donica Hawes-Saunders and her mom, Ronita Hawes-Saunders, joining us on the program. Hello, ladies. How are you doing today?
Great. Good to see you, Steve.
It's good to have you both here. You have a podcast, by the way, I want to share with everyone. It's called RaisedByHer. And a lot of the stuff you guys talk about. Where do you want to start with mental health in the workplace, Donica? What are you feeling?
Let's talk about how the views on mental health in the workplace have evolved over time. And why do we think today and now it's kind of resurging? Like, what are people going through and bringing their lives into their workplace?
Love that. How do you want to respond to that, Ronita?
Well, I think it definitely has evolved because I think that today we're paying more attention to mental health. That is the well-being of how we are physically as well as mentally. And I think many people didn't really talk about it years ago. It wasn't something that we were comfortable just bringing up in the workplace or maybe even in the home in the way that we needed to. Mental health is very important today because adults have the opportunity now to be honest about the way they're feeling, whether it's depression, whether it's stress, whether it's the fact that someone is just driving them crazy. It is important to be able to express yourself just like you do physically, mentally, about what's going on and how you're dealing with it.
Do you think younger generations are the ones that put it on the radar where they've defined the way work should be, where there's got to be a work-life balance, where we're not working as hard as, previous generations because there's burnout, it's not fun, and we have a life? Do you think that had something to do with it?
I know that had something to do with it because over the years, when I had the blessing and the opportunity to be a manager, there were things that my younger employees would bring to my attention that I actually would sit there and I would listen and I would think, I would never have said that to my boss. I would not bring to the table what is happening at home between this person and that person into the work environment. And yet there was a comfort level with younger people actually bringing that to work and addressing it with his or her boss.
I guess that's respectful too, because you're being transparent and that really is going to pilot how your performance is. And if you're not doing as well as expected, we all have those days. There's usually a reason, and maybe that ties back to, your personal life, your home life. What do you feel, Donica?
I think that we work just as hard as previous generations. I would reframe the mental health conversation to be kind of working smarter and maybe not harder, but still finding more efficient ways and effective ways to get work done. Maybe that has to do with where we are from a technological perspective. I know that pace of innovation continues to accelerate and changes are happening very quickly. So I'm actually thrilled that the expectation in 2025 isn't that we would work the same way that was required or expected 50 years ago, because we are currently in a very different time with very different tools at our disposal.
Absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to take anything away. I'm not saying that anybody's working any less harder, just maybe smarter and in a different way. I want to refer to a study that just came out literally this week. And here's the headline. According to a new report, 23% of employees didn't take a single vacation day in the past year, despite the majority of them having access to paid time off. And I'll encapsulate this, the reasons: workload. 43% of workers felt they just have so much work, I can't take time off. Team culture. 29% of workers say they felt guilty or pressured to appear committed at their jobs. And 25% of workers say that their managers would likely respond in a discouraging manner if they asked to take a full week off. Ouch.
Oh,
Ooh.
ooh,
Oh, that's horrible.
not good.
Right?
No.
One word, quit.
Yes,
Find another
Yes,
job.
exactly.
I that's a real challenge, Steve.
Yeah.
I think it's a challenge for the managers. I think it's a real challenge for employees who work in an environment that doesn't support the fact that you need to be able to recharge. I mean, that's what personal leave is: personal time off and vacation. And the fact that, did you say, what was that percentage again?
Which one of the people that didn't take a single?
43%. Yeah, right. 43%.
43% say that I just got too much work, I can't take time off. It's 23% of employees say that they haven't taken a single day off, vacation day off, in the past year.
No, I know that is not something that managers, supervisors should be encouraging. In order to get the most productivity from your employees, from those individuals who are responsible for getting the work done, you need to be able to have those moments where you can step away, do something that is good for the soul, good for the spirit, and then they can come back and tackle the problem at hand.
Sure. Fresh eyes. And I've also heard, too, paid time off, that some companies have unlimited PTO. And while that may sound like, oh, this is a good dream come true, many are very uncomfortable because they're not sure what the expectations are of how to use the paid time off. So then they just leave a bunch of it on the table. Fear of judgment, basically all the things that we've just identified. Donica, what are your thoughts on this study that's out?
I'm sad to hear it, but I don't think that it's that surprising when I look at some of the challenges that I hear people talking about, both from a employee perspective and a leadership perspective. One of the approaches that I have found to be most valuable is making sure that at the very top level of an organization, the expectation for taking time off is set. So you are then asking supervisors or team leaders under you, has your team taken their time off? If not, they must. And that is a part of how you are being graded or evaluated as well throughout your matriculation or your career within this company. And then also, I think it's, as a leader, demonstrating taking time off as well, saying, okay, I am unavailable for this week or this few days, and here's why. So leading by example as well, I think is so important. One of the things I do, it's not as separate as taking a vacation, but I work all the time and I work over the weekends, but then I have to schedule my emails to go out Monday morning, make sure that my team does not get emails on a Saturday afternoon or a Sunday night, because I understand, I've been there. I understand that anxiety when you get that email from your boss Saturday morning and you feel like you have to respond immediately. And that's not the type of culture that I want to set. And I don't want people to feel that way.
I would be transparent. You just brought back a memory, and it's a little painful, but I was only let go from one job in my entire life. I was there for 19 months. I was running a radio group. I stepped down because I wanted to work more like in the trenches, do everything. just because I wanted that experience. This is going back a number of years. And I would speak with the owner and, sometimes little financial things here and there. And I would say, if anything is, going a little sour, you're having challenges, just let me know. Just be honest. That's all. I'll always let you know. Saturday morning in November, I wake up and, 7:14, I read my email and it was him saying, yeah, we got to let you go. Like, wait till Monday.
Oh.
Like,
Oh, no.
Yeah. But you know what? That was proof that I did not belong at that company. There's no transparency is everything, and that definitely wasn't transparent. I pilot by my word. He did not stick with it, and it was all good. It's all good. I had severance and moved on.
I can remember that feeling that you're talking about, because at the time that I was actually pregnant with Donica, I had a job that was actually, it was a job that I had been working on for about a year, and I ended up having a new supervisor. And I had planned with the previous supervisor that at the point that my baby was born, I wanted to take a 6-month leave of absence. And so I had put that plan in place. New supervisor comes in. I had the plan in place. I made sure that my work was covered and we had a whole rhythm going in terms of who was going to do what. So I took my 6 months off. I came back to work. They had a downsizing, and guess who was one of the individuals that they let go? So it is the risk in terms of that communication scenario in the workplace as well.
Sure. I think it almost goes back to that word expectations too, because those expectations were set, but unfortunately previous management then carry that expectation over to new management. And I don't know if you've heard this, and this sparked a memory from what Donica just said about weekend emails. In France, it was protocol that you're not allowed to answer emails, work phone calls, unless an absolute emergency after work hours, 5 p.m., 7 p.m., whatever it is. And I'm pretty sure in the last year or so, it became a law that you can't do it, right?
You are correct. Yes.
I think it's
a
great.
law.
A law.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I did not know that. So
well, that's also coming from
mental health.
Countries that take 2 months off, and that's normal. I'll never forget. I'm standing at an amusement park, waiting for my kids to come off a ride, and I talk with this chap from the UK, and he's a police officer having a conversation. I was like, "Yeah, I'm just squeezing this in. I got to get back to work, with my almost a week off." He goes, "A week off? Are you crazy? Oh, I've got 2 months off. This is just crazy." He couldn't believe it. He didn't know that's how we ride here. Crazy.
It is a very U.S. specific thing. It's actually why when I still worked in corporate, I chose to work for companies headquartered in Europe in particular, in part because of their more generous benefits packages, but as well as like their workplace culture. Just to your point, a different set of expectations.
So what do you feel about the 4-day work week? COVID kind of started that. A lot of companies continue that. There's been some debate that there's more productivity when it's 4 days and then there's 3 days off. Thoughts on that? What do you think, Ronita?
I think that it is really good plan of action, because not only statistically did they find that productivity increased, but there are certain professions where they are now making that the norm. So if you look at the nursing profession, if you will, if you look at some of those professions that have to do with the helping professions, they decided that kind of work schedule is beneficial. It allows one to have, I think, good planning in terms of their livelihood. There's a sense of confidence and purpose, and the work is getting done. I would think that probably from the hospital standpoint, from the nurses and those schedules, it has allowed them to be able to be more responsive to the patients that they're serving, and to feel like that they do have a balance of opportunity in their home environment as well.
It's a really great
First
point.
responders also first responders also have that kind of flexibility in terms of their work environment. So I think it works. I think culturally, listening to you're talking about what's happening in other places around the world, we could learn something from each other because it's the Americans that have been really overstressed, over depressed. It's Americans that have really had this standard that I think has probably caused a lot of the challenges in the work environment from other places.
Absolutely. And nurse burnout is real and it's been going on for years. And the EMT thing, my best friend has been an EMT, I want to say at least 12 years. And he works 3 days out of the week, long hours. He's fine with it. And that allows him, if he's feeling it, to take some part-time jobs as an EMT for like a fire department, make some extra pay or whatever, and then have time off. And he's been doing it forever. And, it's a little bit of a crunch there along the way, but he's good with it. Donica, what do you think overall with our American work culture?
Oh, you can probably guess how I feel about the 4-day work week. I am supportive because the data shows that folks are more productive when that's the case. And that's really kind of my baseline evaluation. From a business perspective, where do we get the most productivity? And then also, it's amazing that then folks also have the flexibility for their personal lives as well. So just going on the facts and the data, I think that it's smart. And I also think going back to that word and that theme of innovation in terms of where we are, where did the 5-day work week come from? I read about it a while ago and I can't remember exactly, but it's something from long time ago, very gendered as well. Like it just,
Donica?
it doesn't even, mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, it came from manufacturing. Manufacturing
Okay.
it was a part of, yes, the whole manufacturing scenario in terms of building products and making products. And yes.
Okay. All right. So then maybe it still makes sense in some spheres. I don't know. But as new jobs pop up and new industries pop up and we reimagine what mental health in the workplace can look like, I think it really does. A 4-day work week, as well as just taking into consideration feedback from people about how are they best working and looking at the data and facts about where does the most productivity comes. I'm a huge advocate for innovation in terms of workplace culture and flexibility.
So when we talk about working
when I was
from
thinking
home,
about this,
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Renita.
Well, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, when I think about how to really be able to put it across to the employees that this is something that is a part of the culture to allow for the time off. And we've talked about this a little bit in the past, Steve, because in broadcasting, there was this feeling of I am needed, I am necessary, I don't want to not be there just because of our responsibility and the fact that broadcasting is 24/7. But I believe you also have to think of ways to be able to reward employees and incentivize them so that they feel like they can get the work done, they can be productive, they can be creative, they can be innovative, to Donica's point, but also be energized in an environment that is supporting the work they're doing. To me, that's very important.
So trade secret. Yeah, I work in radio as you have and been doing it forever. Here's the music log for tomorrow, and I'll be taking care of that later on today. I have not walked in the radio station building more than once in the last 365 days. I don't need to. And by the way, it's all recorded because it works. It's easier and everybody's good with that. Final thoughts here we've identified a lot here: 4-day work week, paid time off, vacation, culture, and all of that. Other thoughts of improving mental health in the workplace? Anything come up for either one of you?
One of my favorite quotes from the former CEO of Essence magazine is that I might get a little wrong, so forgive me, but the gist of it is don't allow the workplace to change you. Like what is for you is for you. And so don't change who you are, change where you are. And so my ask of people, if they are in fact suffering from mental health issues due to the stresses of the workplace, do what you can within, see if there's an opportunity for some help there. But if not, don't be afraid to leave. Don't be afraid to pivot. Don't be afraid to change some employment options so you can really protect your mental health and protect you as your person.
Thank you for saying that. Yeah. Ronita?
I like the idea of an environment, a work environment that really supports good well-being mentally. And what does that mean? That means the balance of your work-life. It means being able to understand what your individual needs are mentally as well as physically. It means having a flexible schedule where you can adapt the needs of the family in addition to getting the work done in the environment. Making sure that the culture that you're working in is one that has, I think, a real strong, positive relationship with those individuals, understanding that just because I might not be here in the office, the work is getting done. Being inclusive of community and community values, I think, is so important when we talk about really good mental health. And then also just embracing difference, whether that difference is in race or sex or gender identity, understanding that having a really good, strong understanding of what it is to be community minded and employee supportive is very good for good mental health.
That's a place where I want to work, without a doubt.
Me too.
You have the two of you have a wonderful podcast, and it's available on every platform. Donica, tell us about it.
It is called Raised by Her, and it is conversations similar to this one, yes, around the workplace, but also about life in general. And we approach all the different things that come up in life, whether it's health, whether it's work, whether it's relationships, from an intergenerational perspective. And so you have the perspective of somebody that has over 70 years of experience on this earth, and then you have somebody that's a little newer, still kind of rocking and rolling, going through some of these things, bringing my perspective. And we have some things we agree with each other, other things we don't agree with each other, but we have some great dialogues.
Love it.
That we love sharing, and we love bringing the broader community into those conversations.
It's such an interesting look between generations, and then also between, a parent and a mom. I mean, a mom and a child, like how that all looks. When I say child, I don't mean it that way. But,
no offense taken.
You know what I'm saying.
It is one of the identities I wear. Absolutely.
Gotcha. Yes. But just, through the eyes of both of you, it's fantastic. Raised by Her. You can find it on pretty much any platform on the planet, like this podcast. And thank you both for being here. Always love the fresh perspective that you both bring to this show and yours, and truly appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Steve.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Bye.
We'll be right back. Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.